Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today, it's been a couple weeks since we worked on our chopper. Life always seems to get in the way of my fun time, you know, work, family things, other things come up. Anyway, today we're going to be grinding our primary bevels. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I won't go all the way with these bevels because we still need to heat treat this knife, and I don't want to burn that edge if we get it too small. So what we'll do is we'll rough grind these bevels in, and we'll get them pretty close, because once this is hardened, it's pretty hard to grind. So we'll get them pretty close, but we won't get it sharp. We'll leave it about a 30-second or so on this edge, along this cutting edge, so that we don't burn that edge when we heat treat the knife. And then we made this micarta, but it came out pretty thick. I've been using these hand towels to make my micarta out of for other projects, and I bought a bath towel from Walmart to use to make some more micarta. Well, I used 2 layers of it, the same as I did with the hand towels. But these towels were a lot thicker, and as micarta came out, it's not quite a 1/4 of an inch, it's probably 3/32, or I mean 3/16. So this is going to be our actual handle material for the knife. I decided, I've never used micarta for handles, so I decided we'll use that. And we're going to make some red micarta today for scale liners to go with our black scales. So thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all joining me in the shop. Sorry it's been a while since we made a video. Let's get to it. I'll show you what we're going to do with this micarta. Little correction here. I know I said we'll show you what we're going to do on the micarta, but we did the micarta. It ended up being a lot longer video than I had expected it to be. So we're going to get right into grinding the knife on this video. And the micarta video is already uploaded. It's a separate video. Go watch that if you want after this one if you haven't seen it yet. So let's get on the knife. much through with our rough grinds on this competition chopper here. Been quite a lot of grinding, I'm telling you. This thing started out at about 1.8 pounds. I weighed it again just a minute ago, and we're down to, with these bevels being ground out, we've narrowed up this spine a little bit, because this is what we started with. Everything was this thick, like this tang. So we've narrowed the spine a little down here. We've got our edge, I think, about as close as we want to get it, you know, before we go with heat treat. That's still going to be a pretty steep bevel, but you'll be able to cut with it if you need to, and you still want a good enough bevel to chop. So I think we've come to a pretty good balance, but we weighed it again, and we went down from 1.8 pounds to a little over 1.4. So I think we're going to be pretty good on weight. I don't know what a competition chopper weighs. I've never had one. I've never really weighed one. I mean, they vary. Everybody makes them differently. Some people make them a little thinner, some a little thicker, a little heavier, a little lighter. But there's what we have. Those bevels have been a pain to grind into this thing too, because of the size of them. Trying to keep this line straight here has really tested my abilities on that 2x72 inch grinder, because I don't use a what do you call it, you know what I mean, a guide of any kind. I just do these freehand. So it'd be kind of nice to have one sometimes, like at times like this. This has been long, meticulous, a lot of grinding to get that thing, and try to make sure they're in the middle, you know, and straight and everything, and even as far as how far they come up here. We've got it pretty close. I'm sure it's not perfect, but they're pretty close. And I don't think, I mean, that's fairly thin right here. You can see we're down to at least a 32nd there. It's a little tiny bit thicker maybe right here by the where the plunge lines come in, but for the most part I think we're pretty much the same thickness all the way down that blade. So I think we're pretty close to being ready to heat treat this thing. I want to work a little more on my handle scales, and probably want to get these holes drilled in here before we heat treat this. Of course, this handle's not going to get heat treated. This tang won't be heat treated because my heat treat oil container down there is only big enough to heat treat the blade, which is fine. You know, this is just a tang. It doesn't need to be heat treated. But I think we're looking pretty good there. It's coming out, you know, pretty much the way I want it to look. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think for a first time try at a big competition chopper like that, we're looking pretty good. So I'd like to give a little shout out to Jason over at HOJ Forge. He's been missing in action for a while. I don't know if he watches any of my videos or not. Probably not. I'm not a very big channel, but just glad he's back, and he's had some back problems, I guess, and has been away from the shop for a while, 4 or 5 months, I think. So if you're watching this, or if you see this, Jason, nice to see you back, buddy. Hope to see some more of your videos. I learned quite a bit when I first started out about hammer technique on the anvil from Jason. So if you don't know who Jason is, if you haven't watched any of his videos, maybe shoot over to HOJ Forge and check out some of his videos. He's makes some pretty cool knives and stuff, and I learned quite a bit about hammer technique from him when I first started by watching his videos. So nice to have you back, Jason. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up, I think, for this deal Sunday afternoon. I've got to get some things done around here and work tomorrow, so we got to kind of cut it off here. I'm going to throw up a little video right after this before my little closing deal. My son bought a new razor yesterday. It's pretty cool. I was over at his house checking that out yesterday. It was kind of the reason why I didn't get, I ground on these bevels quite a bit yesterday, and then we did finish them up today, got as close as we dare before we heat treat. So we'll throw up that little video, of that new razor he bought. It's pretty cool, and then we'll be back next weekend. Next weekend I want to get the we've got our micarta handle scales here that we made earlier. So we've got those. I was going to go with wood, but I kind of like the look of this. Once I made this, remember I made this too thick. It was going to be scale liners. And I used a different type of material than I've been using. I used a heavy, kind of a heavy bath towel, and it came out too thick. So we've got those that we're going to use for our scales. We've got this red micarta that we just made in my latest video that I uploaded earlier. We've got a few bad spots in here, but we've got a lot of room in here where it came out quite good. I didn't quite get it saturated enough with resin. That stuff will happen, so we've got a few voids in there, but we can just we can cut around those. Or if it's going to be inside the scale against the knife, because you're only going to see this edge. You see, this will just go in here like so. You know, that'll be in there like that, and it'll just be a liner in between the black and the tang. So as long as you don't have this rough stuff here, you know, or say like this right on the edge. You know, obviously if that's right on the edge where you're going to be grinding this off, then that wouldn't work. But as long as if this is going to be laying inside against the scale and you're not even going to see it, then it really doesn't hurt a whole lot. It'll be filled with epoxy anyway when we glue the scales on. So then I've got this big bar of brass I ordered quite some time ago, last year sometime, and we're going to put brass bolster up here on this front part. Not sure yet exactly how we're going to run that or how we're going to do it, but we're going to put a brass bolster up here, maybe you know, come down from that hump down to here and maybe cut it off back here. Just a nice little just for looks, you know, just a nice little pin that in there. Now, a competition chopper, to be legal for competition, needs to have a lanyard hole up here on this front area, I think. I don't think the lanyard hole so much matters back here where most people generally put them. I think you've got to have one up here for it to be a legal competition chopper. I probably don't plan on getting into any chopping competitions. I just thought they're a cool blade and I wanted to make one. So where I'm putting a brass piece up here, a brass bolster up in here, I really don't think I'm going to worry about putting a hole in the blade up there, up in the tang up here. Well, it's actually right in this ricasso area. So I don't believe I'm going to do that. All the other parameters, this is exactly 2 inches all the way back here to these plunge lines here. This whole blade is exactly 2 inches. It's exactly 10 inches from tip to here to right behind the plunge lines. We got 10 inches there. And then of course it's 5 inches of tang for an overall length of 15 inches. So as far as the parameters go, this thing is the perfect size for a competition chopper. So I kind of wanted to make sure that we stayed within those parameters. But I got to looking at a few things on researching a little bit about the competition choppers, and apparently you need that hole way up there by the ricasso. I don't want to put a hole in there, so I'm just going to keep the knife for myself, I believe. Of course, money talks. If somebody comes up with enough money, I'll sell it to them, but I'm probably just going to keep it for me. I've been doing this for over 1.5 years, and I haven't made myself a knife yet. Made lots of knives for other people. A couple of failed projects that didn't come out right. One of them was right up here on the wall under that saw blade. This is our old, this was a cable Damascus I attempted. And you can see the cable, you know, where it was. And it cord's welded together pretty well, actually. That blade is actually pretty decent. The problem is we got it way too thin right in here. And we've got some inclusions and some cracks and what have you in there. Knowing what I know now, I could probably come in here and throw a little weld in there and kind of hide some of that and fix that. And we could go ahead and clean this up and etch it. And might not be the greatest knife on the planet, but we could probably clean that up and put some scales on that. And you know, have a fairly decent little knife. It's just a little weak right in here, you know. So that's why we never did go ahead and I just kind of let that one go. It's just wall art now behind the bar, but I may one day go ahead and pull that thing down and fix it up. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for being here. I sure appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'll put a link right down here in the center. There'll be a little round picture of me with my motorcycle, my Harley. You can click on that and subscribe. Click on that little bell. You'll get notified whenever I put out a new video. And you can come and join us here in the shop and check out what we got going on. We always got some little project happening or some little thing going on. So guys, get out to your shop and get something done, make something or fix something, or just hang out there and maybe clean it up a little bit. Mine's getting there. I'm about ready to have to clean mine again. I can make about one knife, and with all the grinder you know, grinder dust and shavings and what have you, and all the forward scale and stuff from hammering on the anvil, it messes the shop up pretty fast. So so mine's about due. About time we finish this knife up, I'm gonna have to clean my my little workspace up here. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I certainly appreciate you. All my subscribers, rock on, guys. Thanks for subscribing and paying attention to my videos. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. My son just bought a new razor, and it's badass. It's very fast. That thing moves. I thought they had like regular gears, shifted gears. It's just got low or high. Thing's fast, man. He's gonna get on and watch. He doesn't want to tear up his new tires. He don't care about that. He doesn't want to roll it with everybody in there. Does on pavement. Imagine what it's going to do out in the dirt, dude.